Okay, it seems that everyone is ready for the next run. I'm gonna do one final refresh on the costume. It is still Android Kelly, so without further ado, BadRNG, take it away with the actual right costume.
Yes, well, thank you guys. For starters, we're just going to put on the right costume right away. There you go. That's just the way we like it. For starters, I have to show that my inventory is empty right now, so I'm not cheating. And the time will start in 3, 2, 1, go. Thank you. Now, for anyone who's ever played a Kelly's Caves game, but not this one, you might have already seen something that's a bit weird, like Herbert was flying me around. And Herbert is usually the bad guy, but in this game, he actually didn't kidnap my parents, so that's a huge plus. Finally, a new story. However, our new bad guy, Magnus, he kidnapped someone else's parents, so we need to help him, Sam. You will see him after the second stage. And for now, I'm just going to... These kind of levels are pretty easy. As always, the first world is just some introductions. Still people that quite oftenly hit me. Every hit is actually a little bit of a time loss. But you will never get away from all of them. Because the guy that throws the boomerangs, his exact moment for throwing is actually... Well, I wouldn't say RNG, but it's pretty random whether he throws up or not. Like that, he didn't throw it at me, but just slightly above me. So I wanted to jump over it, but I still got hit. That's what happens in video games. You get hit. Not really what I want to, but... And here the soccer guy gets introduced. He kicks soccer balls towards you. They are pretty easy to avoid, so as always, the first world gives no real problems. The first time we used the bow and arrow for this game, we don't use it as much as in Kelly's Caves 3, because the developer of the game thought that what we did with the spike gun was pretty much too much, so he tried to avoid making us use the bow and arrow. There are a couple of instances we use it in though. And we already have the first boss here. I just try to get as much to the right as possible because I still need to do a tiny section for this level. Usually you beat the boss and then you get transported back, but not this time. This time we have to get through this grass. It has no extra meaning, but just for fun. We're going to shop right away. We need some items for bosses to just get it a little bit faster. And chicken fingers for safety, as always. So that should be all the items I need. And then we're going back to Zone 2. It will gradually become longer zones. But Zone 2 is still pretty small. It's not the smallest. Oh, and I already missed something. The entirety of this game, of course, it's the most important to know your routing. But these levels are pretty alike, so you won't notice it now, but later on the levels are pretty much all the same as in looks. But the routing is very different across all levels, which makes it kind of confusing sometimes. And you will see me getting confused like I just did a couple of times probably. This game isn't... the game is pretty new, so it's been out 2 months now. I've been running it since a day before release, actually. But the route is still... It changes a lot at the moment because not a lot is found, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to find some glitches. I will try to show whatever I found so far. The first actual glitch is actually at the boss that's coming up, so it's always pretty nice to see. It's really a little time save, so.
How did you manage to get it like the one day before the release date?
The developer of this game is actually a very nice guy.
That's awesome.
So since we played Kelly's Caves 3 and since I broke his game a little bit, he wanted me to, and all the other runners, to check out what he made. Oh, I got that too early. To check out what he made. And too bad for him, I didn't find any glitches while testing it. Just one, but that was actually a problem glitch, not a fun one. Yeah, it was a crash, yeah. I don't know how, though, because it just crashed one screen after defeating one boss in a run. In a single run. So if you would start the game, then get to that screen, it would crash. Okay. If you would have saved in the meantime, it wouldn't crash. It was pretty weird.
It's quite interesting. Can I fit in a small little donation?
Sure, fit in the donation.
We have a €1 donation from Emus saying, every little bit counts, and indeed it does. Thank you very much for your donation.
Indeed it does.
That was probably put towards Android Kelly as well.
Yeah, because Android Kelly is the best.
I do have to say, she looks pretty damn awesome.
She is pretty damn awesome. She's going to kick some butt. So we're actually getting close to the end of the second zone. And this is where we first see Magnus, our big boss, you know. He's pretty intimidating, but he shouldn't be a problem. Oh, I missed the door. So mostly every first level of a zone and the last level of a zone is a enemy free zone. So here I just need to get to the end as quick as possible. Which isn't that hard unless I forget to jump out of the water in a second. Okay, I didn't. So proud of myself. Now I should eat a kebab because that's the double damage. I will use it for 6 out of 7 bosses. Because there's a glitch for the 4th boss in which I don't need the double damage. I will try, I hope I will get it because it's pretty nice. This guy is pretty easy though. The fun part is because I killed him in the wall there, instead of him slowly moving towards the place he just was, he instantly teleports. So it saves about, I wouldn't say a lot, 5 seconds or so. Every little bit counts, of course. And then we're going to Zone 3 right away. Zone 3 is one of the most confusing ones for me. It's all this orange and round balls in squares things. You need to jump, you need to get a lot of height. Bow and arrow doesn't really make any difference here. Because, well, these guys, if they hit you with their flamethrower, you fall all the way down. So I prefer a platform under me than a bow and arrow that might just disappear any random moment. Let's see. So the next screen, I'm happy I'm actually memorizing it now. This is one I usually go all the way to the right, but the end is right here. So this is one of those instances you might get pretty convoluted by a regular game mechanic, as in start at the left, you need to go to the right, not just fall a little bit. But in this game, especially when you play it for the first time, the map is really not helping you with where you should go. There are a couple of double exits. I usually take the fastest one, but if I like miss just one jump, I need to take another exit, because otherwise I lose too much time trying to get it right. Oh, that was a pretty bad move from him. And nice. So I might have not told you about the weapon I'm using. The boomerang is like the most powerful weapon any... Oh, I took the wrong exit. Right. So that's like a mistake I make all the time, but it shouldn't say it cost me that much, because the real exit is right here. So I'm using the boomerang. The boomerang, at first I didn't think it would have been the strongest weapon, because at lower levels it's actually pretty wasteful to use it. It's slow, doesn't do a lot of damage. But at the level 25, and with a couple of upgrades, I can spam these boomerangs, and they do so much more damage than what I thought was the best weapon, that it saved 15 minutes off of my PB the first time I switched to the boomerang. Which should definitely make clear that this weapon is way better. Now there are a couple of other weapons I need. I need the flamethrower for a specific boss fight, because that boss really likes to defend everything she gets thrown at her, except for fire, I guess. It's weird that the boomerang doesn't work there, because boomerangs go really through anything, but not the shields of that boss, which is pretty weird. The other weapons I use, of course, is the bow and arrow, but you will see that more in a later stage. Oh, come on! These guys tend to really be in my way a lot. Now, small little platform level. Everything I'm collecting is something you can purchase stuff within the store, but as you can see in the top of the screen, I don't really need a lot of cash anymore. So we shouldn't really collect those. Right. Hitboxes can be pretty weird in this game, especially for these flamethrower guys. So I'm happy that I'm close to finishing off this level, because they won't be in the other levels. Now don't worry about my health. I know there's only 3 bars left, but actually since I ate the chicken finger, it will refill once I quote-unquote die. Which, yeah, that's why I bought it. I'm really taking a lot of damage during this game. Because of RNG, you will see in stage 6, I believe. Stage 6 is... The ninjas in that level really try to kill this android, but we should be better than that. This guy is one of my favorite boss fights. He's an android as well, as you can see. He will charge at me, then hit the wall, and then die, because the wall was pretty hard, I guess. He really just stands there waiting for me to hit him. Of course. So now we're going to stage 4, and every time I'm going to stage 4, I'm getting a little bit nervous, because the boss of this section is is one with a glitch in it. If it works, it saves me roughly 30 seconds, because the boss in this zone wants to... Oh, I didn't make it. Wants to get hit a little bit, like 25% of its health, then move on to the next phase. And there are 4 phases. So the first thing another speedrunner actually thought was, I don't really like the fact that we have to wait for those 4 phases. So can we just kill him in phase 1? Well, the answer is yes, actually. The developer of this game told me how this trick works. He says that every frame the boss checks whether he gets hit or not. And if the answer to that question is no, you're not getting hit, then he checks his health, whether it's down a certain threshold, like I said, the 25%. If so, move to the next stage. So the only thing we need to do is every frame the game checks whether he's getting hit or not, reply with a yes. So we only have to hit him for every frame in a row until he dies. This sounds ridiculously hard, but it actually... Let's say I get it 1 out of 3 times, because I found a pretty safe setup for it. It's not the fastest way. I found a way that's like 5 seconds faster, but my odds for getting that is 1 in 25, and like I said, it's half a minute win. And if I not get it, it's half a minute loss. I prefer to just throw away those 5 seconds and be a little bit slower than just be entirely slower altogether. It's way too hard. You might get why after you see the setup, but the setup will be at the end of this level. So far we just had the first Barra section. Wow, I forgot to talk about Barra. That's...
Yeah, I was about to say that. I'm very happy to see
so
that she's
bad.
back.
Barra will be in every game.
Oh,
She's the best. What's a Kelly's Caves without Barra? I mean... yeah.
so the tech just made the joke that it was barely forgotten. In case anyone else wants to groan in unison with me.
Yeah, please do. There's actually another glitch concerning Barra, but I hope I will get it in a speedrun working for next time. So far it's not really useful, so I shouldn't really talk about it. Especially not since I don't really get how it works. This game has probably a lot more glitches than we've found so far. As you can see, the boat jumps are sometimes higher than usual. I don't really know how it works. I just spam and hope it works at some point. There's no useful point for that, but it might be if I ever find out how it works, or quicker, or if any of you guys ever want to run this game. It's a good game to run. It's probably a little bit less technical than the... Oh, I needed to go up there. Than Kelly's Caves 3, because we got rid of the rolling, which basically meant you could dodge every enemy, and now we actually have to kill them. But then again, I have the boomerang. I can spray it as I do a lot, actually. So it's probably less technical, but I hope to make it a little bit more technical with glitches to be found. But the first very technical thing is actually coming up. I've been talking about it for a while now, so I hope it will work. I think I'm going a little bit into concentration mode, so if you have anything to tell us about, be my guest.
but of course. I would like to say that we are, as per usual, a beneficiary of the Dutch Cancer Society, an organization that really works hard to make the lives of cancer patients better and to actually put as much money as they can into the research of any cure for cancer. 90% of your donations will be going straight to them. The rest will be used to make this place an even better one for both viewers and runners alike. If you like these kinds of marathoning, you live near Glasgow and you're like, I would like to visit something like this. Woo!
Got it.
That was a beautiful one. Shall I finish my story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And you would like to visit one of these events, there is the UKSG held in Glasgow on March the 17th and 18th. So check them out on speedrun.com or on their Discord.
Thank you. Yeah, so I was a little bit nervous for that trick. If one of the boomerangs actually doesn't hit or decides to be a little bit slower than any of the other boomerangs, the trick doesn't work. And the setup in the other phases is way too hard. The fastest way is actually to just hit him the 25% at the first stage and then do the trick at the second phase. But like I said, that's not something I'm really comfortable with right now. So now we're at Zone 5, Jade Helm. This one is pretty cool because these lasers are always bugging me. So there's a bunch of time save here if I just don't get hit, but then again, some of the times these lasers decide to just keep shooting even after they're dead, which means I need to wait in a speed run. Yeah, I know, guys. It happens. Could be worse though. So once again, it's just this level for one is one you don't have to go to the right away. You need to fall first. I tend to forget, not on that particular screen for some reason. And there's Bera again with her hardest jump in the game. Bera had some pretty technical screens in Kelly's Caves 3, not really in Kelly's Caves 4, and of course, like I said before, the developer knew about the glitches we used in Kelly's Caves 3. So in this game, I can't glitch Bera into a wall and use it to gain more height, which is actually a sad thing. Bad Bera was so nice. But then again, there are no screens. We are able to use it in this game, so it doesn't matter that much. The developer actually said he wanted to make this game way harder for us to run, and well, he did. But there's less tricks this time. Just make sure you keep going straight ahead. But not always.
By the way, I'm not sure if you did already, but can you explain what the plus saves means?
The plus saves means that we start the game off with an already finished game file. Well, I should say existing game file because it doesn't have to be finished, of course. But it's just I have all the weapons I want right at the start. There are 20 weapons in this game. There's way more than in Kelly Caves 3. But I adjusted the save file a little bit, so I only have the 3 I need, the 1 extra because that's my cycle nowadays, and the 1 that's mandatory. All of these weapons are level 25, all maxed out. I have enough money to buy all the items I need. I have all the upgrades for the weapons. That's a very big difference. And some upgrades, like I said. So the boomerang is actually being shot twice now. One up and one down, as you can see maybe. That's a huge difference over the regular boomerang, because that only shoots one, for instance. And I play 80% plus saves because it's way safer.
Do people run just regular any percent?
Not yet. I will look into it at some point, but it's kind of scaring me right now, because I'm still not very knowledgeable of this game. I'm getting better though.
Can I quickly do a donation as well? We've got €5 from Android Meister Box. All praise the BadRNG for this run. A lot was donated for Android. Apparently not many iOS fans out there. Keepo. Thank you.
Nice, which is pretty fun because this game has been released on Android.
Nice plugging.
So that actually means I completely forgot about this fact myself. Actually, you can play this game for free on your Android. If you want to check it out before actually playing it on your laptop, I would say or computer, I would say it's way better. But so we entered a boss fight actually. So I'm going to kill this guy. He has 3 cycles. I can't use the same trick as before. So I'll just have to see him changing every time, and he's just ahead, so he shouldn't be a problem. Actually, none of these cycles are actually a real problem. I did get hit though. I got cocky. Frog Legs, he decides to jump towards the place I am, which is a great thing to do with me and the boomerangs. So I guess this means we finished all the easy bosses. I shouldn't say it because the boss at Zone 7 is the easiest one of all of them, but only if you know what weapon to use. Boss 6 might be a little bit troublesome, but that's why I didn't only buy the kebabs, which double your damage, but I also bought stim packs, which increases your crit damage. Which means I hope that I get enough crits and kill her in one cycle. If I don't, I lose a couple of seconds. So these ninjas are why I say this game has RNG. They pop up. They do that all the time. They can either dash or jump, and they can either decide to go towards you or away from you. Whatever they do, it's not coded if they dash, they jump, and which side they go to. Which means that sometimes they jump away from me and then I'm happy, and other times they jump right into my path, meaning I'm having bad luck, and usually they really like me and tend to follow me a lot. But so far, so good.
Yeah, definitely knock on wood for that one.
I shouldn't say those kind of things. It always goes wrong when you say that. So now the girls are introduced, and they intend to be even worse than the guys. Thank you for showing everyone what I mean. But they are behaving pretty nicely so far. I just hope they do it the entire zone. That makes this way easier. Oh, those guys. Oh, he just jumped into my boomerangs. That's also another possibility, of course. And that's the best. They just don't want to fight for their bad cause anymore, which they don't even know is a bad cause, but they will find out soon. So another instance in which you use the boomerang. I always get it wrong. Yes, this is the wrong level. Okay. So like I said earlier, a lot of these levels look alike. And this zone in particular is one where I am really bad at the routing. I tend to think I'm in another part. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why I did that. That happens more often than you would think. The next screen will be the hardest screen in the game, Kappa. I don't really know why they made it a screen in the first place, but I will not complain. Not today. Maybe in a later day, when I forget that I have to just stay on top here. So this is the hardest screen ever. Yeah. I barely made it.
I'm amazed you got through that. That is incredible. Wow.
It takes a lot of practice. You might have seen these missiles a couple of times in this game with the red laser coming out. I don't know why, but the red laser are not an indicator for where he will shoot at. You have to be pretty close to them in order to let them shoot at you. But when they do, my boomerangs are pretty much in the way, so... Another instance of an enemy that just launches itself towards my weapon. And once again, I forgot that I just have to climb up there. We're getting close to the end of the Badlands outpost. The boss for this zone is the General. Question mark, question mark, question mark. In the first time you play this game, you have some interaction with the General. But the interaction is literally just white and just a black screen with dots. Neither of you actually say anything. So, best conversation. We will have to conversate though ourselves. I will tell you more about it when that happens. I just hope I... oh wait, I know, don't go there. So we just climb up here. Yeah, oh, what was that? Nice, she tends to get in the way, but decided to jump into my boomerang. I really like her for doing that. So this is the last screen before the boss. Once again, no enemies whatsoever. But the first boss with the usage of a stim pack is coming up. I really hope it's going to work right away. I switched weapon, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, question mark, question mark, question mark. No one knows who she is, but we're going to fight her anyway.
Is that the rival from Pokemon Silver?
Maybe. No, it's a girl wearing a mask. Kana. Well, she's still a bad guy, so let's hope this works. It worked, nice. That doesn't always work. And now we're telling her that whoever she is working for is evil, and she should join us. And she does. So, now she's part of Team Kelly.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah, well, this game is really about making friendships, I guess, with Herbert, the guy that's the bad guy from Kelly's Caves 3, flying us everywhere, like here. We've become very good friends. Kana, the girl that tried to kill us, not really successful, but she tried to, I guess. But she's now our best friend as well, even though she still thinks we're weird. And we found the hardest enemy in the game, the guy that throws grenades over us. I'm not sure why the developers didn't make the trajectory of the grenades a little bit lower, just so it would hit us, but I'm not complaining. I can just walk under it, so I'm pleased. I will still get hit by them quite sometimes because reasons. I'm just not really good at knowing where they are, and other enemies do want me to hit them, jump into it, but if I jump too early, I jump into the nade. And that will happen in a bit, probably. The first couple of screens are pretty easy in Project Exodus. But they won't be in a bit. I'm pretty happy I still know the routing for this place. This is all space, so I really get distracted by the mapping here a lot. Oh, I almost jumped into it. I'm actually pretty happy with my health bar right now. I still have one healing item. Usually I'm worse at this point in health, which means I need to grab a hot dog is there in this level, I believe, which heals you all the way. But I believe I still have one right now, so I will never need to buy anything new. Oh, once again, one of the hardest screens. Whenever you know what to do, it's easy, so that makes sense, I suppose. But the first time I played it, that screen is actually one of my biggest problems because I thought I needed to get somewhere at the middle or at the top, so I kept looking, I kept dying until at this one point my controller died while falling. My batteries were empty, and that way I actually got to the bottom and find out that the exit was right there. So that was the Barra part for this level. I believe we have still one more left at the last level. Then unfortunately we need to say goodbye to Barra. I don't know why Barra is in this game particularly. I know in Kelly's Case 3 that Barra's mom was kidnapped as well, and we saved her in the Barra mode, but in this game actually I guess she's just a friend helping us once again. Oh, the entirety of this game is actually about the first girl you see in the Avalon screen where we buy our stuff, because she is cursed. I don't know what they mean with she is cursed, but she is cursed. And we need to find an amulet. And the amulet is what we're trying to get, but Magnus is also trying to get the amulet. So we need to hurry up so we beat him to it. But as far as I'm concerned, we're actually still behind. He's always ahead. Mostly because these guys don't shoot at him, probably. I'm not an expert on the subject, but having no one shoot at you is probably an easier life. So we're close to finishing off the 7th zone, which went pretty decent in my opinion. I didn't have a lot of problems. I remembered the screens, which means that probably I'm at a pretty good pace right now. I'm not sure. So this will be the 7th boss, and once again, you might have heard it before, this boss is extremely hard. So we use 2 weapons because she's incredibly strong. Allison, the doctor, always fear doctors. Oh no, you shouldn't. We actually grabbed the flamethrower for her because, like I said, the shield. But that means that the entire fight is just me doing that. Now I can switch back to my boomerang because we defeated Allison. She wanted to do an attack there, and that attack is actually very annoying. So that's why I used the 2 items, because otherwise you have to wait for that incredibly annoying fight to end at some point. And I just don't like it that much. So now we're going to zone 8, the last zone. Since we still have those 2 items we used for the fight, because both the kebab and the stim pack work for 2 minutes. These first couple of screens are ridiculously easy because there's only snipers which need to charge, but they're really not that strong whatsoever compared to my kebab and stim pack. I don't know why you get stronger from kebab, but why question it? I mean, sometimes I get stronger from eating a kebab as well. There will be another enemy introduced in this zone 8, the assault girl. I don't know her real name. It's close to that, I suppose. And she wants to shoot random patterns of bullets towards me. So once again, RNG is going to decide whether I'm allowed to keep moving or keep getting hit. In the practice room earlier today, I got hit tons and tons of times by one of these assaults, and it was so annoying. It cost me so much HP. I should be about 30 HP right now, and I was at about 20 at that point, but because she kept hitting me with those random pattern of bullets, I ended up with 4 HP. She actually hit me 16 times, which is terrible RNG. I hope she won't be doing that to me today. And this is this is the last screen of Bera, so everybody enjoy. And we said goodbye.
Bye, Bera. You will be missed.
We're pretty close to getting introduced to the assaults. There she is. She already hit me. Wow, okay. That wasn't that bad, but there are a couple of screens in which she is way more annoying. I hope I won't be able to show you guys. Oh, what? This is probably the most terrible one. Oh, she decided to behave. That's the part where I lost 16 HP earlier today. Okay. These boomerangs might be a little bit confusing sometimes because I shoot so many that I don't always see whether the enemy I'm shooting them at is dead or not. Most of the times I just assume they are and then walk into them. Always costing you a little bit of time, but it shouldn't be that much. I mean, the other way around, you would have had to wait for them anyway, so. Okay. Okay, she decided to hit me after all. So we're just 4 regular screens away from the end. Oh, I need to go there. 4 regular screens away from the end. And the last boss is actually pretty annoying. Oh, I need to watch my HP, I see. let's see. Okay, so 2 more screens left. Let's see if I can remember them. Oh, let's see if I can't get hit, please. Okay, so I'm trying to take a little bit of risk away from this. Just a little bit more waiting. Oh, there's the sniper. Oh, okay. Okay. So now we get to this, once again, extremely hard part. Okay, that was it. And now, of course, the last screen before the boss fight is just walking to the door again. This is actually the only cutscene that still works after completing the game, which is pretty weird. I don't know why, but Sam is here to tell us that we're close to the amulet, and that we're actually close to finishing off the game. But first we need to destroy this guy, and I see I still have health, so I'm just going to take that for safety measurements. Not that this guy can hit me that much, but I mean, this is not that hard, and that was the boss fight. So time is coming up. We need to grab that amulet, but first Sam will tell us that we did a great job, and that we're so close to the amulet. Wait, I can't skip any of this, so you can actually read what he says. We did it. Couldn't have worked out any better. So go, hurry up. We think it's weird. We wonder where his parents are, but he doesn't mind. He thinks we should grab the amulet. And then that means it's time. And for the biggest plot twist ever, the guy that we tried to rescue actually betrays us. He grabs the amulet because you had to be pure of heart, and he wasn't. We are. Noble intentions. That's about the same, I think.
Yeah, it fits.
Now he cures his own curse, and plot twist: Sam is actually Ivan Magnus. And this is where the credits will start. I see I have a 46-47.
That's correct.
That's world record.
Nice.
We will fall down. You will see Magnus resurrecting every bad guy, but Kelly will still survive. And we will complete the mission in another game mode, but not today. So that's it.
Thank you very much for that awesome world record run. Congratulations again, BadRNG.